Today we'll be talking about NiSi's filter holder system for the X100 series cameras. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is Dylan Golby, and welcome to the first in a series that I'm going to be calling Gear Shorts. The idea for this section came to me when I was considering how to best present all of the different accessories that I use for the Fujifilm X100V, and I quickly realized that it was going to become a 20 or 30 minute meandering video that I myself probably wouldn't want to sit through. So I've decided to break it up into smaller 5 to 10 minute bite-sized sections focusing on individual pieces of gear. The idea here is to make short and to-the-point videos when it comes to gear so that we don't spend too much time talking about all of the new features and bits and pieces that come with lenses, cameras, and accessories. If you guys enjoy this section, I would like to keep doing it, so please head over to my site where I do have a section about all of the different gear that I use. If you would like to hear about a specific piece of gear or have a question that you'd like to see answered in a video, leave it in the comments below. For now, let's get started with today's video. As I mentioned in the intro, today we're going to be talking about NiSi's filter holder system for compact cameras. Now, they do offer this for a couple of different brands, including Sony, also the Ricoh GR, but we'll be talking about the Fujifilm X100 version because that's the camera that I do have. So NiSi offers this in two different kits. There is a starter and a professional kit, with a professional kit having two more filters, one of which is a 3-stop ND and the other one is what NiSi is calling a natural light filter. We'll get onto that in a moment. So when you open this guy up, what you get is a small filter holder with a few filters inside, and you also get this tiny little holder that's been machined specifically for the camera you purchase it for. So this one has an X100 mounting ring on the back of it, and it can be screwed directly into the X100 cameras, which is a bit different from most filter systems, which actually require you to buy Fujifilm's little filter adapter before you can screw anything in. So this one has been machined specifically for this camera. It does mean not sharing it with other cameras, but it also means that it can be really, really small. So screw that guy in, and then what you get is a little filter holder that can be rotated left and right with some square filters attached. So the first filter we'll talk about is actually the main reason why I bought this kit, and this tiny little guy here is a 3-stop graduated ND filter, and you can just slide that directly into the front here. It can be a little tough to get them in because they are quite small, but once you get them in, you have a camera that you can literally walk around with to your eye and slide an ND filter up and down, rotate it where necessary. You have a really quick, simple way of, say, darkening a sky or bringing some more drama to certain parts of your image. So that was the main reason that I bought it. So the reason that I decided to choose the professional kit over the standard kit was because it comes with this 3-stop filter. Now, with the Fujifilm X100 cameras, you do have a built-in ND filter that can be handy in a pinch to, bring the exposure down so you can use the lens wide open in broad daylight. But it can also be used on, say, a cloudy day or under some tree cover to get a mildly long exposure. And with the additional 3 stops from this NiSi kit, you have a tiny little kit that is able to get sort of 2, 3, or 4 second exposures when you're out, say, shooting a waterfall in the forest, or when you need some, longer exposure at night to get some streaky clouds or something like that. You're able to add in very quickly this tiny little piece of glass, really good quality, and get some great images back. So the next filter that can come in handy is actually this little polarizer. And this again slides into the square filter holder, as this holder itself isn't big enough, like something like the Haida systems or one of those, where you could actually slip it down the back and have a separate polarizer. So you do actually have to rotate the whole holder with this thing in order to polarize a scene. Now, while that works well on its own, and it works fine with, say, the ND filter, when it comes to a graduated filter, you're then limited to either being able to polarize or being able to have the graduated filter where you want it. So that's a little bit of a pain. This isn't really a combination that I try to use with this system because it very rarely works out. The final filter in here is NiSi's natural light filter, and what this is a filter that puts sort of a blue cast over the image and tries to counteract things like light pollution in cities when you're photographing stars, or the awful cast that you get from things like sodium vapor lamps. It does that to a degree, although I would argue that you can probably use your white balance in most situations to get a pretty similar effect. The thing that I have noticed with it is it does create these big blooms around things like streetlights in cities, and I'll put a shot on the screen for you in a moment to show you what I mean, but because of that I haven't really found myself using it at all. So for me, my most commonly used filter is the graduated filter, as I mentioned before, just because it's so simple to use. So I'll often screw in my black rapid wrist strap, just like this, and leave the house with that on my hand. The graduated filter can be moved completely out of the way by raising it up, so you can work normally, but then when you come across a scene where you need it, it's very quick and easy to slide down and rotate. And then I'll put this tiny little package, which you can basically see is about half the size of the camera, into my pocket, and that's all I'll take with me. So I guess the main positive for this system, with it being so tiny and screwing directly into the camera, is also its main disadvantage when it comes to the X100 series cameras. For people like me, who like to use the two conversion lenses, so the wide-angle conversion and the telephoto conversion, to just sort of augment what you're able to do with the camera, this system can't be used on those because it only screws directly into the existing lens on the camera. So for those two lenses, you do need a different system, and in next week's video, I'm going to talk about the Haida M7, which I use for that purpose. So all in all, I feel like this is a really good investment and I use it quite a bit. If you have any questions, let me know below. Thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers!